Hi, I'm Zariah. I'm a marketing executive at Palmer and Reed in Chicago. And after 3 years of missing family Christmas due to work commitments, translation, avoiding drama, I decided this year would be different. The taxi dropped me off outside our family home in suburban Detroit, snow crunching beneath my boots as I lugged my suitcase up the driveway. Strange, no cars outside. Usually, Melissa's SUV would be parked crookedly, taking up too much space, and Richard's pretentious Audi would be positioned for a quick getaway. I knocked, waited, then used my old key. The house was dark except for a dim light from the kitchen. Hello, Mom? Dad? Anybody home? I dragged my suitcase through the eerily quiet living room. No Christmas music, no laughter, no tree. What the hell? That you, Sweet Pea? A familiar voice called from the kitchen. Grandma Rose? Where is everyone? I found her at the kitchen table, a plate of turkey and stuffing in front of her. Her silver hair was perfectly styled as always, but she looked tired. Well, look at you. City girls come home. She stood to hug me, smelling like cinnamon and the fancy perfume I sent her last birthday. Where is everyone? I wanted to surprise them. Grandma Rose pointed to a note propped against the salt shaker. They left this. The note was in Melissa's handwriting. Christmas dinner moved to Aunt Patricia's house. Don't wait up. Didn't think you'd make it, so we didn't save you a plate. Sorry. They didn't even invite me? Or you? My voice cracked. Oh, they invited me. I declined when I heard you weren't welcome. Grandma Rose pushed her plate toward me. Hungry? I saved you some. Why wouldn't I be welcome at Christmas dinner? Grandma Rose sighed. Sit down, honey. They've been saying things. What things? That you stole money from your parents' accounts. That your fancy job and apartment come from taking their retirement money. I nearly choked. That's insane. I know that, Sweet Pea. But Melissa has been planting these stories for months. Richard backs her up, and Aunt Patricia and Uncle James eat it up because they've always been jealous your mama married better than them. But why would they believe that? I make 6 figures at Palmer and Reed. I don't need their money. That's exactly why. You succeeded while Melissa lost another job and Richard's business is failing. Easier to tear you down than admit you worked hard. I paced the kitchen, rage building. So they're having Christmas without us because of lies? Seems so. Been happening more and more. They exclude me from things too. Say I'm getting confused, just because I call out their nonsense. I sat back down, taking Grandma Rose's hand. I'm so sorry I haven't been around more. Not your fault. You built a good life. I'm proud of you. I should call them out. Go over there right now. That's what they want. To make you look crazy. Grandma Rose's eyes sparked with something I hadn't seen in years. Fight. What we need is a plan. I'm tired of being the forgotten grandma, and you deserve better than being their scapegoat. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting, she said, squeezing my hand, that it's time we both stop taking their crap. We've been nice long enough. For the first time since arriving, I smiled. Grandma Rose, I think you're right. Grandma Rose and I spent the night making calls. First was my cousin Tammy, always loose-lipped after a few eggnogs. Oh my God, Zariah! I didn't know you'd be home. Aren't you, banned from family gatherings? Banned? Why would I be banned? Well, after what you did to Aunt Helen and Uncle Joe's retirement fund. Melissa showed everyone the bank statements. My stomach dropped. What bank statements? The ones showing you took 50 grand from their accounts last year? She said that's how you afforded that fancy apartment in Chicago. I gripped the phone tighter. Tammy, I've never touched my parents' money. My name isn't even on their accounts. That's not what Melissa said. She has papers with your signature and everything. After hanging up, I called 3 more relatives. Same story, different details. According to Aunt Patricia, I'd stolen $75,000. According to my cousin Brett, it was $30,000 plus jewelry. This is worse than I thought, I told Grandma Rose as I paced the kitchen. They've got actual forged documents. Check your mama's desk. Top right drawer has a false bottom. That's where she keeps the real statements. Sure enough, beneath a stack of warranties, I found the hidden compartment and 6 months of bank statements. Flipping through them, my blood boiled. These show regular withdrawals to a family care services. What's that? Grandma Rose adjusted her glasses. Never heard of it. Your parents use Golden Years Home Health. A quick online search revealed nothing. It's fake. And look, these transfers started right when Melissa moved back home temporarily last spring. Check who signed for them? I squinted at the signature line. It looks like Mom's signature, but it's off. The M is all wrong. Your sister always did think she was clever. Not clever enough to forge properly, though. I found Richard's number in my phone. Zaria? Didn't expect to hear from you. His voice was cautious. Just wondering why you're letting Melissa tell everyone I stole from Mom and Dad. Look, I'm staying out of it. This is between you two. So you know she's lying? I didn't say that, You're enabling her, Richard. That makes you just as guilty. You don't understand. Melissa and I have been taking care of them while you've been off playing big shot in Chicago. By taking care, do you mean draining their accounts through a fake home health company? The line went silent. Then, how did you... I hung up, then turned to Grandma Rose. Why are Aunt Patricia and Uncle James backing Melissa's lies? They must know better. Inheritance, sweet pea. Your daddy's brother died last year, left him quite a sum. Patricia thinks if they push you out, their kids get a bigger piece when your parents pass. That's sick. Family and money, a nasty combination. I sat at the table, mind racing. We need to expose them all, but they'll just deny everything if we confront them directly. Grandma Rose smiled slyly. Then we don't confront them directly. We let them dig their own graves. What are you thinking? Remember when you were little and I taught you to fish? Sometimes you don't yank the line right away. You let the fish swallow the hook nice and deep first. I nodded slowly, a plan forming. And I know exactly what kind of bait to use. The next morning, I called Melissa in tears. I just don't understand why everyone hates me. I sobbed into the phone. I would never steal from Mom and Dad. Well, the bank statements say otherwise, Melissa replied, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. Maybe if you confess and pay them back, things could be different. I'll do anything to make this right. I can't believe everyone thinks I'm a thief. After hanging up, I immediately dialed Aunt Patricia. Zaria, this is unexpected. I know what Melissa has been saying about me, but did you know she's been forging Mom's signature to transfer money to a fake company she created? That's ridiculous. Your sister would never... I have proof. But I'm scared to confront her alone. I was thinking of hosting a dinner at Giovanni's on Friday. Neutral ground. Would you come to support me? Aunt Patricia hesitated. I suppose I could. Someone needs to keep things civil. I made 5 more calls, telling each relative a slightly different story. Told Uncle James that Richard had admitted to helping Melissa forge documents. Told Cousin Brett that Aunt Patricia was getting a cut of the stolen money. By lunch, my phone was buzzing with confused relatives checking their stories against each other. They're scrambling, I told Grandma Rose as we sat at her kitchen table, scanning Mom's financial documents. I told Melissa I'm too upset to come home, so we have the house to ourselves. Found something interesting here. Grandma Rose pointed to a signature card. Your mama changed her authorized users last March. Added Melissa, but removed your father. That's not like her. Dad doesn't know. Doubt it. He's always left the finances to her. I snapped photos of everything, then called David, my colleague from Palmer and Reed's legal department. I need a favor that's definitely not in your job description. You helped me with that disaster of a product launch last year. I owe you. I need these documents reviewed by someone who knows banking fraud, and I need it fast. My sister's a forensic accountant. I'll have her look tonight. By evening, the family group chat was on fire. Richard texted me privately. What did you tell Uncle James? He's furious with me. Just the truth. Why? What are you worried about? Melissa says you're trying to turn everyone against each other. Classic Zaria move. Interesting theory. See you at Giovanni's on Friday? I'm hosting a reconciliation dinner. We'll be there. Someone needs to stand up for Mom and Dad. Grandma Rose chuckled as I showed her the messages. They think they're coming to ambush you, but you're bringing the bigger guns. My phone pinged with a message from David. My sister says these signatures are definitely forged. The account transfers show a clear pattern of fraud. We've documented everything. I'll bring copies Friday. Perfect, I replied. Dress nice. You're my date to a family dinner. The night before the dinner, Grandma Rose and I sat planning our final moves. You ready for this, sweet pea? They won't go down without a fight. I looked at the stack of evidence on the table. Bank statements, forged documents, witness statements from the bank teller who remembered Melissa trying to cash checks in my mother's name. For years, they've treated us like we don't matter. You because you're too old, and me because I left. Tomorrow, they learn that was their biggest mistake. Giovanni's private room was buzzing when David and I arrived. Grandma Rose sat regally at one end of the table, while Melissa held court at the other, my parents flanking her sides like security guards. The prodigal daughter returns, Melissa announced as I walked in, and she brought a date. How appropriate. This is David, I said, introducing him to the table of relatives. He's a colleague from Palmer and Reed, legal department. Richard nearly choked on his wine. Once everyone was seated and appetizers served, Melissa couldn't wait to start the show. So, Zaria, you wanted this reconciliation dinner. Ready to come clean about stealing from Mom and Dad? Actually, I thought we'd start with some light reading. I nodded to David, who distributed folders to everyone at the table. Bank statements, signature cards, withdrawal slips, all showing exactly who's been stealing. My mother opened her folder, face paling. These aren't our statements. We never authorized these transfers. That's because Melissa forged your signature, Mom. That company, Family Care Services, it's registered to her boyfriend. Melissa's face turned scarlet. That's a lie. Richard, tell them. Richard stared at his folder. I don't know anything about this. I pulled out my phone. Really? Because here's our text conversation where you admit knowing about the forgeries. I read aloud. Just stay quiet about the signatures, and you'll get your cut when the house sells. Aunt Patricia stood up. This is absurd. You've always been jealous of your siblings, Zaria. Making up stories. Like the story you told Cousin Brett about getting 10% of Mom and Dad's estate for helping push me out of the family? I watched her face crumple. Or how about you, Uncle James? Want me to share what you told Richard about handling Grandma Rose's inheritance if she becomes too difficult? Grandma Rose smiled sweetly at her nephew. Do explain what handling means, James. I'm just a confused old lady after all. My father, silent until now, took the folder from my mother. Helen, these are our account numbers, and that's not your signature. The room erupted in chaos. Melissa screaming denials, Richard trying to blame everything on her, Aunt Patricia and Uncle James gathering their coats to leave. Before anyone goes, David stood up. As Miss Johnson's legal representative, I should mention that all evidence of financial fraud has been documented and prepared for filing with the authorities. However, Zaria prefers to handle this as a family matter first. My mother looked at me through tears. Why didn't you tell us sooner? Because you wouldn't have believed me over your precious Melissa. You never have. The silence that followed confirmed everything. I'm buying a house here in Detroit, I announced to the stunned table. And Grandma Rose is moving in with me. The rest of you can sort out your own mess. 6 months later, Grandma Rose and I hosted our first summer barbecue in our new backyard. My parents came, tentatively rebuilding our relationship without Melissa poisoning things. Richard was facing legal problems after Melissa implicated him in her schemes. Aunt Patricia and Uncle James had been cut from family events after their inheritance plot came to light. Not bad for a girl who wasn't invited to Christmas dinner, Grandma Rose said, clinking her lemonade against mine. Next year, we're hosting the holidays, and we'll be very selective about the guest list. So here's my question for you. Is completely cutting off toxic family members the right move? Or do we have an obligation to keep trying with them even after repeated betrayals? Would you have done what Zariah did? Or would you have handled it differently? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story of family drama and sweet revenge resonated with you, hit that like button so more people can find it. And if you want more stories like this one, subscribe to the channel for new uploads every day. Thanks for watching.